I don't necessarily go for that. I don't ride with NBC as MSNBC that much, and I don't really ride with Fox News. Like, I don't necessarily want the news to agree with me all the time. That's the whole thing. I want the news to challenge me, the same way I want my music to challenge me. I want the news to challenge me with a different set of viewpoints, with a different set of occurrences, something I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. And if they don't do that, and if they're not telling you what happened, if the objective news is always colored by something, then what's the point? But at the same time, I just hate people blaming the media for everything. Oh, the media is spinning this way. Oh, the media is spinning that way. As my friend Sarah said, you're going to read into stories. That's what I did with that satire story. I read into the idea of what the guy said, how he said it, and yeah, I took classes on it. So you can make a story look however you want if you're skilled enough, depending on who you talk to, how you describe them, and really what you say. You know, you can lie by omitting details. You can change a story that way. I'm not saying the guy did that at all, but he interviewed a few more people from one side than he did from another, and especially in the way it was written and where it was, it's not easily detectable as satirical or juxtaposing the way he did it. I can't remember the exact name of the article. It was basically the Black Friday protests in Chicago, and a guy went and covered those, and he talked to a lot of the people who were trying to shop, who were indignant about the protests and why they were protesting and what they were protesting and things like that. It looked like he set out to make them look crazy, but it didn't necessarily come off that way all the way. But at the same time, people are blaming the media for a lot of this. People saying that, oh, the media made this a problem. That's bullshit. Let's just say that right now. That's bullshit. Media didn't make any of this a problem. It happened, and they reported on it. Not saying they reported on it well, again, but they reported on it. They brought the news to you. That's always been the media's function, to tell you about what's going on. You might hear about it now, in a way that you wouldn't have heard about it back then, when there was no Twitter or Facebook, no instantaneous updates on your phone, but they still brought the news to you. When they do these in-depth analysis cases of how much money Rahm spent to give Barbara Bird's company and then installed her as CEO of the Chicago Public Schools, that's not necessarily something that you would have just heard about from somebody or somebody tweeting out. They tweeted out the story after they wrote it, and they brought that news to you. Barbara Bird Bennett. Whew, thought I was going to forget it. So stop blaming the media for trying to, making it a story. And they're not everybody is spinning this stuff. You can find people that are not spinning these stories. And at some point, like with the gun control stuff that I'm going to get to in a few, with the mass shootings that I'm going to get to in that same period, at some point, you just have to realize that what's going on might run counter to your current ideology. Sometimes that's the way the world works. Years ago, a lot of people thought rape jokes were okay. It was cool. It was kosher. And when the pushback came and people said, hey, this is not a joke, we shouldn't use this way, still can't believe Dane Cook was the person that brought that to the mainstream focus. Then you were kind of like, what? But this is alright. We don't mean we're actually going to rape anybody. And people said, well, why are you saying it? Is there something else you can say? Is there some other way you can say that you just beat all that team on Call of Duty? And there is. People drifted into saying it. They kind of got over it. World is changing, man. Transgender people, transsexual people, that's becoming the norm. The world is changing. it's like people didn't, there weren't wheelchair ramps in 1975. There's wheelchair ramps everywhere in 2015. That was 40 years ago. Which was what makes it troubling that you can get, I guess that's an easier problem to fix. But it makes it troubling, I guess, when you have these problems and people are still kind of holding their hands over their ears and saying, la, 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 this isn't a big problem, it doesn't affect me. I haven't been experiencing this, so how could you possibly have experienced this? Again, I'm not as angry as the protesters I walked with. I know police officers. I know the ones that are doing fairly well. I know the ones that aren't racist. Or at least they haven't been to me. But then at the same time, I don't know what prejudices they have when talking to other people that they don't know. And that's the main point in and of itself. The people that you know to be okay because you've met them and talked to them for a fact that they're cool, that's fine. Then you've accepted them into your purview, into your worldview. That's all fine. We're talking about the people that you don't know, that you just see when you're out walking or driving, and what leaps to your mind first when you see them. I'll tell one last quick story and then I'll move on. I was out with people on Tuesday downtown Chicago for a friend's birthday. We went to we were going to go to the Chicago Athletic Association Hotel, but that didn't pan out, so we went to the Virgin Hotel Roof Bar. $6 or $7 for a beer, $6 for a 12-ounce Bud Light, and I think $11 for a vodka tonic and a snifter. So, not rich yet, but I guess balling on a non-existent budget. And then we ended up going to this place O'Callahan's at River North, just off Hubbard and Dearborn. I was walking back to the bus about 11 o'clock, and I walked down State Street, and I walked past the American Medical Association building, just past Kinsey, right across the river, across the street from House of Blues. And I saw a guy coming out with an umbrella and a waistcoat. And he didn't see me. I was walking up the street. I had on a pea coat. My hair's grown long, so I had it picked out. Glasses and these Rockports, I think, that I got from Payless. It wasn't anything like junky. It wasn't anything hood or grimy or anything like that. It was going out clothes. I had jeans on, but they were darker jeans, whatever. That's one part of it itself. I thought about my appearance. Did I look like some sort of character that would instill fear in other people? So when the guy got up to me, instead of walking down the steps, where it looked like we might have crossed paths about the same time, he waited at the top of the steps and let me pass by. On the one hand, it's nice. Hey, we didn't want to bump into someone. That happens. That can happen. And he didn't see me early, so, that goes to the argument of, he could have slowed up then or walked faster or what have you. He just he did not allow an encounter to happen. Then again, at the same time, my thought process after some time of being around as an adult is, well, was he scared? Was the dude scared? Because you don't know. You really don't know. Because in the past, I have seen people who crossed the street when I was walking towards them. Men and women, late at night or during the day. On college campuses, walking around in Chicago or other places. And you get the influence, you think to yourself, why'd they cross the street? Why do you cross the street if somebody's walking towards you? Why do you look back over your shoulder when you're walking down the street if somebody's behind you? Why do you do that? Because you're scared. Because you're scared of something. And so we gotta get rid of this. We gotta get rid of this fear. We gotta get rid of this fear of the unknown and of those people that we don't know, and those people that look different than us. And to all the people that are saying that these protesters are attacking all police this is the police that they've been presented with. This is the figure of the police. And the police that jammed them up never told them there's other good guys in our department that don't do this stuff, and they didn't see those guys. You know, if a girl gets dogged by 3 men that she dates, is she gonna go out and say not all men are like this? You'd hope so, but she probably won't. If a guy gets dogged by 3 girls, is he going to go out and say, man, you know, this has been tough, but I'm going to try it again because not all women are like this? Oh, because it's their personal experience. And the sad thing is, to go out on a limb, you know, there'd be different reactions on both sides for both of those people. I know guys that would say, it's like, yeah, man, fuck them hoes, man, fuck those bitches, man. You gotta go and get your own. Go give them a taste of their own. And some women would say the same thing to the girl. You know, it's like you gotta do them dirty if they did you dirty. You gotta get rid of this fear, man. Get some understanding in here. God, that's too preachy, but it's true. It's just true. Alright, last and certainly least, unfortunate as it may seem, there was a mass shooting in San Bernardino, California yesterday at a developmentally disabled center, as I'm kind of wincing and shutting my eyes saying that because it just exhausts you to think of that. 14 people were killed, 17 wounded. And the shooters were Middle Eastern descent. I'm trying to find more out about the story. But I believe one of the guys' names was Saeed Farouk. Dan actually tweeted about it. He's like, just for the sake of the Muslims in this country, I wish that Saeed Farouk's name was John Smith. Saeed Farouk. Unfortunately, it's not John Smith. San Bernardino oh gosh, that's Breitbart. I'm not going to read a Breitbart headline, sorry. Trying to find some more information. But there's 3 suspects engaged in a shootout with police at this developmentally disabled center. Like I said, 14 people were killed, 17 wounded. 21 wounded, and 2, most of them were county suspects. After a Wednesday afternoon car chase, 2 armed suspects were killed by police, U.S.-born Syed Rizwan Farouk and Pakistan national Tashfeen Malik. The motive is unknown, shooting possibly related to terrorism, but might also be workplace-related. And there was some degree of planning. The suspects were heavily armed and wearing tactical attire, and they had an arsenal of ammunition and pipe bombs in their home. To quote Bruce Banner, so that all seems horrible. And it's brought back the discussion about gun control in the country. Now, I put up a post, and I'm going to read what a friend of mine from high school told me. I put up a post that was an editorial on the Huffington Post saying, you know, Dear America, here's how you go about gun control. Now, here's what my friend replied. If you actually knew the drug trade, the guns are far more policed than drugs. You have to sit through all the forms to conceal and carry, but those that buy on the street are going to get over it, fact of life, same as drugs, same as abortion, same as every goddamn thing else. Now, I believe the article did say something about a voluntary buyback program. And yes, I know the definition of voluntary. But, like, if I just get over it, if I just let it go as it is, then I wouldn't be doing my job as a person, as a human being living on Earth that doesn't want to see people die every week. That's what I'd be doing. If there's no way to control violent deaths, then drop the bomb now and get us all out of here. Otherwise, sit down and have an actual conversation about how to stop